With the election day just a little over a month to go, I expect to see even more ads on the candidates, the issues, and ballot initiatives. Let's look into some of them now. Some of the recent presidential ads and whether the claims they make are true. Jonathan Strong of Roll Call is here. He has been doing that in his own reporting, and staffers there are keeping an eye on the assertions. I'm making up words, being made in campaign advertising. Jonathan, always good to see you.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the show. Let me just ask, first off, to me, when I see these ads and they're not, they don't end with, you know, I'm Mitt Romney, I approve this message, I'm Barack Obama, I approve this message. I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to take that one with a grain of salt then. But is this a good practice, do you think?
I would say in general that the organizations that are outside of the campaigns they do feel free to push the envelope a little bit more than the campaigns themselves, because if a candidate makes a really baldly false assertion in an ad, it's going to come back and kind of swing back against him.
Okay. All right. I will continue with this practice then. And, you know, in the intro, having a little fun there, but, man, every other ad really is a political ad. And should we expect to see the airways even get more crowded with this right up until the election?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because they really focus on those few weeks before the election, and so we're now going to be in the thicket, so to speak.
We're going to look at several of them, but I got to ask, does it matter? At the end of the day, does it matter that, you know, one ad is put out by one campaign and does it matter that the other one gets right on it, puts an ad out? Are we listening anymore?
It can matter. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. The old adage is you can't just buy an election outright. You look at some candidates who had spent a lot of money, like Steve Forbes, couldn't just purchase the election, but that money with the right message and the right candidate can do a world of good for that candidate, and it tends to be really effective.
Because airtime is expensive.
It is.
It sure is. We're going to look at 4 ads. We're going to attempt to do this in the time that we have. 2 from Mitt Romney, 2 from President Barack Obama. The first one is from Mitt Romney, and just to give you a little description, it basically says there are more Americans in poverty and on food stamps since Obama became president. Let's take a little look at this one so you can be familiar with it.
Too many Americans are struggling to find work in today's economy. Too many of those who are working are living paycheck to paycheck, trying to make falling incomes meet rising prices for food and gas. More Americans are living in poverty than when President Obama took office, and 15 million more are on food stamps. President Obama and I both care about poor and middle-class families. The difference is...
Okay, so you see it there. Also, you see a more laid-back Mitt Romney with no tie on, sort of looking right into the camera there, nice light background. I'm not asking you to dissect the setting of it, but I will say, is that factual or false?
The facts, the statistics about poverty and food stamps are both true. Those have gone up. You know, that's kind of what you would expect in a recession like this. The other thing that he said in that ad later on is he has a plan to create 12 million jobs. He does have a plan, and the economists who authored it predict it will create 12 million jobs, although some economists outside of the campaign predict that will happen without any additional action. So he may be setting the bar low so that he meets it no matter what happens.
Okay, I think we have a little snippet of that. Let's take a look at that part of that ad.
My plan is to help the middle class. Trade has to work for America. That means crack down on cheaters like China. It means open up new markets. Next, you got to balance the budget. You got to cut the deficit. You got to stop spending more money than we take.
Okay, and it will go on to say that he will get that 12 million, and you explain that. China, we don't even have time to talk about that whole battle. We don't have that ad here, but I would love to get your take on that, because earlier the president said that he was basically the inventor of outsourcing, and then you see the other ad. So, all right, we'll bring you back to that one. Let's take a look at the president's first ad. This one, he says that that we have enjoyed 30 months of job growth and 4.6 million new jobs under his watch. Let's look at it.
He keeps saying it.
This president cannot tell us that you're better off today than when he took office.
Well, here's where we were in 2008.
Worst financial collapse since the Great Depression.
American workers were laid off in numbers not seen in over 3 decades.
And here's where we are today. 30 months of private sector job growth, creating 4.6 million new jobs.
There they really went after the whole theme of the campaign, the convention, the GOP convention, where are you now? Are you better off? And to answer the president's forward message. So what do you think about this ad?
Well, the statistics that Obama uses here to paint like a kind of picture that he's presided over a pretty strong economy, they're technically true, but they're somewhat misleading.
Okay.
For instance, he says that he's created 4.6 million new jobs. Well, that's only if you don't count the jobs that were lost at the very beginning of his term. And if you count those, the net number of new jobs in the Obama administration is close to zero. He kind of just passed zero a few days ago due to revisions in the numbers. More broadly speaking, this recovery that Obama has presided over is the slowest since World War II. It's considered generally pretty tepid by historical standards.
We think it would be the same ad, just to be fair. It would just go on to say basically that the United States was losing these 800,000 jobs a month when he took office, and Mitt Romney supports the same old policies. You saw former President Bill Clinton bringing that point home. Got to end it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been very interesting. This is Jonathan Strong with Roll Call, and we'll be right back.